Why victory for the rebels in Syria would be a defeat for Palestine. Trying to take advantage of the situation in Lebanon, US-backed rebel fighters have launched a new offensive to try and overthrow the government of Syria. The US claims that they're opposed to dictatorship, but they have close partnerships with absolute monarchies across the region. The real issue is that Syria has provided a lifeline to resistance organizations in Palestine and Lebanon. The overthrow of a government at the top of Israel's hit list. The Israeli Air Force has routinely bombed Syria since 2013. Hundreds of people. Israel and Syria are technically at war with each other and have been since 1948. While large-scale direct fighting hasn't taken place since 1973, a region of Syria remains under Israeli occupation. In 1967, Israel captured a region of Syria called the Golan, and hardline Zionists want Syrian territory for their Greater Israel project. The liberation of the Golan remains an unofficial national goal of the Syrian government, and the overthrow of the Syrian government has been a long-standing goal of the Israeli regime. Losing a safe haven for Palestinian organizations. Almost all major Palestinian political parties and associated resistance groups have offices in Damascus. Several have their headquarters in exile there. And more broadly, Damascus has long been a refuge for left-wing and communist forces in the Arab world that are persecuted by their own governments. A coalition of major Palestinian organizations have called to defend the Syrian state and national sovereignty from terrorist organizations that are backed by Turkey, the US, and Israel. Cutting off supplies to the resistance. To receive the supplies they need to stand up to Israel, Palestinian and Lebanese organizations rely on transportation routes that go through Syria, especially the parts of the country that are targeted in the current offensive. If Syria falls to the rebels, who are sworn enemies of the Lebanese resistance and most Palestinian groups, then these supply lines will be cut off. If the resistance isn't able to get the resources they need, then Israel will feel more emboldened to step up their genocidal attacks to drive Palestinians from their land. Hands off Syria. Hundreds of thousands of Syrians have lost their lives defending their country's independence from terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda that have been armed and trained by the US government and other foreign powers. And the Israeli regime's main sponsor, the US government, maintains an illegal occupation of Syrian oil fields in opposition-held territory with hundreds of US troops. An unknown number of private US mercenaries are part of the occupation as well. They should be brought home now, and all intervention in Syria should end immediately. Thank you so much to the Party for Socialism and Liberation for these slides and information. Please go and share them for yourselves and give them a follow over on Twitter at PSL National. Solidarity, comrades.